Evening peeps, good evening everyone. How are we all doing? Hopefully all doing very, very well. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We have a new target, people, 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm laughing because, yeah, look, who knows? We might get it. 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. Please also like and share the vids. How many pay-per-view buys do you think that fight did on the weekend? I was thinking about this. Throughout the week, how many is it going to do? I think Canelo, Caleb Plant did something like 800,000, didn't it? Which is a massive number. I wonder if it did that number though because of the build-up. Remember they had that little fight at the press conference. That helps. It helps. Bivol and Canelo, there was no animosity whatsoever. And sometimes you do need a bit of animosity to sell a fight. You just do. And there was nothing really on the undercard that got people talking either. So it was all about Canelo, Caleb Plant. I do think, yeah, that they do need to like sort of think that the undercard can sell it as well. Does that make any sense? Like so much stock is put into the main event and I get it. And then it's just the undercard's almost an afterthought. So you're buying the pay-per-view. A lot of people are buying the pay-per-view just based on the main event. That's all you're buying it on. You're not buying it on Montana Love versus Gabriel Valenzuela. You're not buying it on that, are you? But if you stack the undercard a bit, I do think it entice people just to sort of give their hard-earned cash over. That's what I think anyway. So I was thinking how many buys, and I'm thinking 500 to 600,000, which I don't know. Is that good? Is it not good? It's the Zone's first attempt at pay-per-view. I know they've done a little test run for the Ryan Garcia fight, but in Canada only. But this is their first big test. So I'm not sure if that's a success or not. I think it is. I think 500 to 600,000 is pretty good. I do, especially again when there's nothing on the undercard, no animosity. You know, it's difficult. It's a difficult sell, and not many people gave Bivol a chance either. So with all those things sort of chucked in, I think that's all right. I think that's all right. Let's talk about what next for Canelo. I think I know what he's going to do next, and what he's going to do next, I think, is the rematch with Bivol. I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's a fighter. He's going to want to run it back. He's going to want to run it back. And it's not like, it's not like AJ Usyk where, you know, you're seeing AJ hurt in the fight. You know, you're seeing it like AJ, 20 more seconds and, you know, Usyk could have stopped AJ. It isn't like that. It's a bit different, isn't it? So because of that, I think Canelo's going to think, no, we can run it back. We can run it back, and I expect him to do so in September. I spoke to Jessica McCaskill after with Sean Porter, and they kind of expect the same thing. That doesn't mean it's the right thing. So let's kind of talk about what the options are for Canelo. Remember, before we sort of get into the options, he is signed to a 2-fight deal with the Zone. So as much as there are some really good other options on the other side of the street, it's going to be difficult. I don't know sort of how it works with him sort of breaking a contract. I have no idea how it works. So look, we can still mention those guys, but realistically, it's a fight that's going to be on the Zone. So, you know, are the Al Heyman fighters going to come over to the Zone? Absolutely no chance. I still think it makes sense to do the Gennady Golovkin fight in September. I do. I think it makes sense for Bivol to have his fight against the winner of Joe Smith, Beterbiev, which I think will be Beterbiev, and then that's a definite #1 versus #2, however you want to play it. You know, some people still have Beterbiev as #1. I'm not going to argue with that. But that's #1 versus #2. You're talking undisputed. Ring mag, it's everything. I like that. I like that. The problem for Bivol, because Bivol mentioned it as well, and I get it, the check for fighting Beterbiev, let's just say, is him in an undisputed, compared to the check of fighting Canelo, light and day. Light and day. So as much as Bivol's saying, I want the winner of Joe Smith, Beterbiev, he'll change his mind very quickly. But look, I think Golovkin makes sense. Golovkin looked okay against Murata, and now Canelo's coming off a loss. If Canelo had steamrolled Bivol, for me, it's a difficult sell, Canelo versus Golovkin. Now I think it's a bit of an easier sell. Everyone's now saying, okay, maybe Canelo should go back down. That's what people are saying, right? People are saying, okay, maybe 175 isn't his landing place. Maybe he should go back down to 168. You know, remember, he's the undisputed champ at 168. He hasn't given those belts out. So why not have that voluntary against Golovkin? Why not do it, the trilogy? I think it kind of makes sense now. And I think it's actually an easier sell than it was before. although Canelo's coming off a loss, it's an easier sell because of who Canelo fought to get that loss. Canelo didn't lose to a bum. Bivol said, as much as Bivol would do it at 175, Bivol said, and he's been saying this for a while, Bivol, he'll go to 168. Bivol was saying, okay, you know what? I was too big. Let me come down to your weight division. I was too big at 175, was I? Let me come down to 168 and take your belts. Now, that intrigues me a lot. The way I would be fully on board with that is if there is no rehydration clause nonsense. Because I feel like they're going to think he was too big and he's going to be too big again on the night. But it's a lot better than he would be if he came in at 175. So I think as a second option and a very close second to Golovkin trilogy is Bivol at 168. I love that fight. I really do. And Bigel's not the biggest 175. Me being around him, I saw that. He's not the biggest at all. He's nowhere near as big as, you know, your Callum Johnsons and your Anthony Yards. He's not. Nowhere near as big as Yard. Yard is so fixer. He's slightly taller, but not that much taller than Yard either. So he's not as big as those guys. So I think he can make 168, and I think he can make it well. It's not going to be like a Chad Dawson back in the day against Andre Ward. It isn't going to play out like that, where Chad looks like a dead man walking at 168. I think he'll look good at 168. And then we do have the guys on the other side of the road. Benavidez, Charlo, and now obviously Errol Spence's name's been chucked in because there was talk about a 164 catch weight. Hear me out when I say this. Bivol rematch is massive. Golovkin trilogy is massive. I'll tell you this now though, I think from a financial standpoint, I somehow feel like Jamal Charlo is bigger. Don't think it's better. Don't think it's better. Bigger financially. There's something about the trash talking that might be needed. And I think Jamal Charlo would fire Canelo up like Caleb Plant did. It would be crazy. That's something that was missed. And I was just talking to Akam Barak about it. I was saying, look, it's funny because I think the legacy fight, I think Bivol's a bigger legacy fight than Charlo and Benavidez. Don't let anyone tell you it isn't. Don't let anyone. But from a selling standpoint, Charlo and Jamel will be there as well. The whole crew will be there. Errol will jump. Everyone will be there for it. It will be enormous. Honestly, it would be enormous. And that's the kind of fight for me that I think, because of all the animosity that would be created, that fight could get close to the 1 million pay-per-view buy. It could. Again, for DAZN, it wouldn't happen on DAZN, would it? Because Al Heyman just wouldn't let it happen on DAZN. I don't know what kind of contract Jamal Charlo's got locked in with Al, but it wouldn't happen. But I think that one would be big. For Mexico, and I know Benavidez is a Mexican-American, American-Mexican, but I still think from a Mexico standpoint as well, Benavidez would be huge as well. So it's weird. So I think the ones on that side, so the PBC side, are bigger than the ones on the DAZN side. Although I think the ones on the DAZN side are better for legacy, I think these ones are bigger financially. So those really are the four. No point really talking about the Errol one at 164, but supposedly that's what PBC offered him. A Charlo or a Benavidez plus an Errol Spence catch weight at 164, which would be enormous, but no, come on, Errol's 147, no. I mean, I like Errol, but I mean, Errol's getting hurt by 147 guys. I think we've seen that. Porter hurt him, although Porter very thick, by the way. Porter hurt him, Ugas hurt him, Canelo would, no, we don't want that yet. So look, Canelo's gonna have to do some thinking here. He's gonna have to do some thinking. If the 168 option is available, you might want to take the 168. Now, I don't know if that's almost fair. You wanted to challenge him at 175, he beat you at 175, and now you're going 168. But sometimes, you know, you put the ego aside, you do that. I remember Conor McGregor when he fought Nate Diaz at 170. I thought that was a bit of a disadvantage to Conor. But it was like, I lost, fuck it, we're running it back at 170 again. So you know what, maybe Canelo might do that. What if he loses again? What if he loses? What, honestly, what happens? If Canelo loses back to back to Bivol, what happens? Is it done? Is the Canelo thing done? I don't know. And is he still pound for, he is still pound for pound #1 for me as well, by the way. Terence Crawford must have tweeted something like, I'm now #1. Dude, how you what, you think because someone lost and you ain't done shit, you just jump above him? Nah, sorry brother, doesn't work like that. Pound for pound #1 is still Canelo, right? With some gap as well. It's not even like, the only person that's close to him is Usyk. Usyk's the only one that's close to him for me. Yeah, so strange. But anyway, they're the options. Peace and love.